What's going on YouTube? OCD for EDC here. What I've got for your face balls today. We are talking about best knives of 2021, and this is the high roller section. So this is in the 400 and up range, and I've really only got one. I didn't get a whole bunch of knives in 2021 that were over that kind of money. And honestly, there were several that came out, but just none really spoke to me other than one in particular. And I am going to call it my knife of the year. And I can't believe that I'm going to do this, to be honest with you. Even at this point in time, I'm still like trying to come up with reasons in my head why this isn't. I'm just going against the grain here, I guess. But my knife of the 400 and up dollar price range, best knife of 2021, is a Medford. So I know that I have, kind of not bashed, but been a little bit down on Medford over the years, and kind of complained about their quality and whatnot, fit and finish, and all those things. And part of the reason why I am giving this knife such high praise is really just because of how much of an improvement it is over the older stuff from Medford. So I was pleasantly surprised to, handle this knife, check it out, see everything that it had to offer. And I'm still kind of blown away that this is coming from Medford shop, but I am super pumped to see what they do in the future because this knife, it's not perfect. However, it is a massive improvement over, Medford knives just from a couple of years ago. And for multiple reasons, which we're going to get into, I'm actually going to disassemble this knife for the very first time on this video. I have not taken this knife apart. I have removed the pocket clip and flipped it around, but we're going to check it out on the inside and see everything that's going on. So the the Medford M48. What is this thing? So what we're looking at here is a titanium frame lock flipper with an aluminum show side scale. Now this particular variation happens to be a DLC coated frame lock side it's a really dark green color on the show scale. It's a hard anodized coating on the aluminum, and this is an S35VN hollow ground blade. I can't remember what he's calling this tip grind, but they've got a name for the tip grind, and I can't remember what they call it right off the top of my head. But ultimately, we've got 1/8 inch titanium, 1/8 inch blade stock, 1/8 inch aluminum scale. So, it's 3/8 of an inch in overall thickness. It is just a fantastic knife. And we'll get a couple of measurements here before we disassemble this thing. So, blade length is right in my wheelhouse, 3.89 inches. It is just a fantastic size, super neutral handle. I mean, this thing's going to work wonderfully for anybody. Action on it is unlike any other Medford that I've ever had. And I've had a handful of Medfords. I've certainly worked on many of them, modded some, all kinds of different things. But the action on this one, the detent is well tuned. Action's great. The blade grind is great. Love the stone wash with the polish over it on the blade. The hollow grind is beautiful. It's just a fantastic knife. It really is. The pocket clip is literally perfection. It's as deep carry as you could absolutely get, but they didn't leave enough room for your pants to roll up around that edge, like some knives. SOG, I'm talking to you. So you don't have issues getting this back out of your pocket. The clip is extremely well thought out. I like the little kind of Easter eggs. You've got kind of the chevron shape here. This is a tribute to General Patton. Here's General Patton's dog. I think was it Willie, I think? on the pocket clip there. And you've got the 4 stars for little 4-star general right there. So, and then of course the tank tread across the show scale, the M48 patent tank. So, super cool knife. I really loved the, the kind of historical touches, and yeah, super cool. It's got an over travel stop. It's got an internal lock bar relief cut with a phenomenal pocket clip. Flipper tab is designed perfectly. It's got some meaningful jimping up here on the flipper tab that works perfect. Action is, like I said, fantastic. It's just a really, really fantastic knife. So let's tear this thing apart. Now, I'm pretty sure that, here, I'll show you guys. Hopefully you guys can see this, but the pivot screws here, I'm pretty sure it's T30. Yeah. Yep. T30 on the pivot, and then everything else is T8. Actually, no. The over travel stop there, that's going to be a T6. Let's grab some tools here. First, I'm just going to remove this pocket clip so we can get it out of the way. Okay. All right. And then I guess I'll just take out this body screw. Actually, I'm going to take out the lock side. All right. So, and these are all countersunk taper-headed screws here. Now, okay, so I don't need to remove this screw. It looks like there's a barrel spacer in there. Yeah, there is. There's a barrel spacer. Okay. Now, let's see if we can remove this pivot. I'm not really sure exactly what we're going to find here on this pivot because, it looks like almost like set screws or grub screws going in from either side. So it's kind of interesting the way this pivot is machined, but let's see what we're dealing with here. Okay, so it is free spinning. Let me grab another T30 here. Hopefully. Come on. Get out of there. Of course, and I grab a T35. There we go. Okay, and then I've got my little Swiss Army ratchet. I was actually using it. Okay. Here, I'm going to do it this way. Okay. All right. So it's definitely came apart here. Okay. Oh, all right. Well, that's kind of interesting. Not really what I was expecting. I guess I don't know. Like I said, I haven't ever taken this apart, but yeah, interesting. So that's kind of an interesting pivot screw. But here is the show side scale. A little bit of oil down in there. And we do have a washer, which is wonderful. Okay. Wonder if that'll just push through. No. Okay. So, take a look at the blade here. So the bearings, okay, and we do have bearing pockets. Man, this thing came with like some really thick grease. I don't know if you guys can see that. So we're definitely going to improve this action some here with getting rid of that gnarly grease, because we're definitely going to get rid of that. Let me to grab a little post-it note here to throw the greasy parts on. There we go. All right, so it's just a standard pivot barrel with some interesting pivot screws. We do have a ceramic detent ball, no hardened steel insert. Yeah, that grease is just really packed in there, so we're going to clean those bearings up. But we do have hardened washers, so the screws or the bearings are not riding right on the titanium or the aluminum, which is great. And then we've got the serial number here, 104-023, which that is also on the blade right there. Oh, that says 123. Huh. 104-023 and 104-123. And so, show side scale is not numbered. Okay. Well, let me get a rag here, and then we're going to clean this thing up. And do I have some oil in here? Probably going to have to go grab some oil. Wasn't necessarily planning on disassembling anything at the moment, but more than anything, I was just curious to check this thing out to see, what it had in it for bearings and all that sort of thing. But definitely interesting. It's just a little different than your standard fare. But like I said, it's just such a huge improvement. The action on it is just fantastic. The design is great. It's just a really, really nice, simple design that works extremely well. Yeah, I'll get that in a second. So, can't say that I really love the grease that they chose to use there, but that's okay. All right. We'll pop this washer out here. Get out of there, you little bastard. That grease making it sticky. Come on. Okay. I'm done playing around. There we go. Just need a magnet sometimes. Okay. There we go. Now, let me go grab some lube real quick. I'll be right back. All right, we're back in. Got some KPL heavy here. That's what we're going to use to put it back together. And let's go ahead. The washers are quite polished, which is nice to see. And we will start with the show side down. Make sure we got this parts all cleaned up here. Oh, you know what? I haven't cleaned the bearings yet. Getting ahead of myself here. So, you can see here, this is a $500 knife, and it's got a free spinning pivot, which is not ideal. But like I said, this knife, I'm not making any excuses. It's not the greatest knife ever. It's not the most perfect thing ever. However, it is a huge improvement over, Medford's of yesteryear. And I'm not really sure why. So the pivot tube fits through the lock side perfectly. However, appears it is just barely too tight to fit through the show side. So, you know, you have stuff like that. Um, yeah. Oh boy. So that's what a $500 knife gets you. So I guess we're going to build this, you know, lock side down first. I do not like doing it this way for multiple reasons, but one of which is because you have to fight the lock bar tension the whole time, as well as when you build it the other direction, you can lubricate your detent path, you know, as one of the last parts that you do, which to me just makes way more sense. But because now I could take that screw out, you know, and put it in the put the screw up from the other side and screw the pivot tube on, but I'm just not going to mess with that. I'm pretty sure it's got Loctite on it. So, not the end of any worlds, but if I had my own way about it, I would build this the other direction. Okay. So, we're going to throw one of these bearings down. We'll throw a little slick 'em in here. I'm getting super low on my KPL here. Definitely going to have to remedy that issue. And the KPL heavy is like syrup, but it works extremely well, so I like using it. So this hollow grind on this knife is beautifully done, and then also, you know, the spear point or the way that they did the grind on the tip of this blade is really cool. Um, it's just a really well done knife. You know, I think it's a good looking knife. You know, of course, looks are subjective, so to each their own. However, in my opinion, it's definitely a good looking knife, and it functions beautifully. Like I said, you know, that's not always been my experiences with Medford, but hey, this one, in my opinion, just shows you know, a really nice improvement from them, and yeah, I'm pumped for that. You know, like I want to see the American makers really do a good job and you know, warrant the kind of money. Oh shit, warrant the kind of money that they charge for these knives. You know, it's kind of a bummer when you see things like parts not fitting just perfectly and all that sort of stuff, especially for what this knife costs. However, you do expect things that are, you know, made here in the States to cost a little bit more money. So, you know, there's no doubt about it that a $500 knife from Riot would definitely have, you know, more exacting tolerances or, you know, better, tighter tolerances and that sort of thing. Certainly, you know, Chris Reeve knives are going to have better tolerances, but this is just a different. Oh, that's that T35. Damn it. This is just a different thing. And, you know, I paid full retail for this knife. I actually bought it at Blade Show. And really love the knife. It's definitely one of my favorites. And like I said, one of the main reasons is just because of how big of an improvement this knife was for Medford. So, all right, let's get this body screw in here. Hopefully, now this thing was perfectly centered, and hopefully it's going to be again, because you know, it's a fairly long, slender blade. Both scales are relatively thin, so it's very easy to see if this thing is not centered. Oop. The joys of a free spinning pivot. All right. Now, it looks pretty centered. Okay. Action is good. We have 0 blade play. Yes. Actually, action is... Oh, just hit my finger. Action is definitely a little bit snappier. So, that's nice. Pivot might be a little bit tight. Perfectly centered. Yeah. So, you know, for the size of this knife, it goes in the pocket beautifully. You know, it's pretty slender in this dimension, pretty thin. And, you know, for, you know, almost a 3.9-inch blade, it definitely doesn't take up too much space in your pocket. And like I said, the pocket clip is absolutely gorgeous. It works perfectly. And I did have, somebody asked me if my pocket clip twisted, and it does not. I mean, you can see that it fits tight in that milled out space. And the pocket clip is reversible. But no, my pocket clip does not move around. So that's kind of, you know, that's a bummer if that's what's going on. All right. So I was gonna, the pocket clip seemed like it didn't have much for thread engagement, but you know, you've got a lot of pre-tension on that clip. You can see how much it's bent out there. So to get that screw started, I'm really going to have to push down on that. And it's a very, very short screw. Yeah. Okay. There we go. Yeah. So we do have, you know, a good steel barrel spacer that is screwing into. And then with the way the pocket clip is designed, you know, you've got that other side, the other pocket that's milled out, but it's completely hidden by the pocket clip. So in my opinion, it's just a fantastic way to do a pocket clip. It was extremely well thought out. And, you know, it makes for, you know, I know a lot of people don't want to machine a pocket on the other side just because for aesthetic reasons, but this is the answer to that. So that style of design, yeah. Super pumped with this knife. Makes great noises. Here. It's super clicky. And yeah, just sounds great. Works beautifully. Really, really fantastic knife. So that is my choice for Pocket Knife of the Year 2021, 400 and over. Medford M48. I never thought that I would be saying Medford anything and Pocket Knife of the Year, but yeah, I've really grown to love this knife and super pumped with it for sure. So definitely keep your eyes peeled if this is something you're interested in. You know, it would be awesome if the price would start to come down on these. Yeah, you know, $500. It's quite a bit of money to spend on a knife like this, for sure. But, yeah, doesn't make me love it any less, that's for sure. It's a really cool one. So, anyway, guys, hopefully you enjoyed that. And let me know down in the comments what your favorite knife of the year was 2021, 500 and up. All right? We'll catch you next time. I'm gone.